There we go. That was fun. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Alvan Nova's live stream. Podcast, actually, map making podcast. We're going to do something, we're going to start doing something a little bit different. Um, I think that the term podcast is a little better. However, we're going to keep doing tutorials, keep doing demonstrations on how we show maps, how we make maps and put things together. Today, the first part of this podcast, I'm going to be showing, again, a live demonstration of how to use Wonderdraft to help plan out a map, and also another style of creating a map. But right now, we're doing a gigantic map. We'll get into that more later. So the first part of this stream is how to take your work out of Photoshop or out of ArtRage or out of your favorite cartographer program and import it into Wonderdraft. After that, we're going to go into the podcast segment of this. We're going to just talk about anything. Join us in chat. We are going to be looking for additional people to come in and join, get their take on map making, get their take on, life in general, get their take on cartography, and anything else they want to talk about. This is new. This is something that we haven't done before, but what the heck? Let's try it. So let's go ahead and get started really quick. I'm just going to. All right. Oh, you can see my music. Let's move that out of the way. All right. So we're back in Wonderdraft today. The image, our image size right now is, we're going to be running about 480 by 3800. This image is basically, well, I'll show you really quick what we've been working on. This is our campaign map for our role-playing game. This one is probably the biggest map I've ever done. We've been using that new technique, and we're getting a fairly good product here, a fairly good realistic map with our new technique we've kind of been developing. So here's that. We're going to take this map and put it into ArtRage. As you can see, I haven't we've started coloring it. I need some more detail and to plan it out a little bit better before I commit to it to help speed up the process. So we're going to do that in Wonderdraft. So let's go ahead and close that. We're not going to save that. We've already saved it in a previous file. So first demonstration is I've exported it out into Photoshop. Okay. And this is the same map, well, relatively, has actually been reduced. The other map can be blown up into about 18 feet. So it's, as I said, it's the biggest map we've ever done. This one in and of itself this one's 48, well, pixel size is 48,000 by 32,000 with a resolution of 550. You get the idea. It's still a pretty big map. So how we're going to do this, first of all, we're going to export this, and I've already done it. We just file, save as, and I just made a JPEG of this, just the initial map, and just saved it to my desktop. I also took this image, and this is important, to get into Wonderdraft and to speed up the process, I created this black and white copy. When we do this, we can actually take it into Wonderdraft, and we can switch it around. We can make it into a, we can change this map over and put it into Wonderdraft to get, sorry, just got a, hello, how are you? Brianna, good to see you. Apparently we are having a little bit of issue with the chat on YouTube. There's quite a big delay, so I've got my little phone and tablet open to the other channels, making sure that we are, kind of helping with that delay. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, please chime in, and love to answer any questions about what I'm doing. Anyways, we make this into black and white. The white is going to be the land, the black is going to be the sea. When we import a black and white map into Wonderdraft, it creates the white turns into the land and black into the sea. So we saved both of these. We're going to use both of these now. And I'm just going to close out Wonderdraft because we are really hitting We're in this computer hard today. No, we're not going to save any of this. Close that up. Let's go into Wonderdraft now. Here's our image. Let's just go ahead and make a new image. This is, again, our resolution size is 4,800 by 3,200. And what this is going to do is, just hit OK, create our new map. Now, we've made sure that the pixel size between our maps in Photoshop and our maps in everything else are the same size. In order to make things are consistent and make sure that our land sizes look the same. So let's go ahead and get started. First of all, we're going to import, again, my totally messy desktop, heaven help us. Oh, that's not the right one. Here it is. Again, there's the image we're going to import. Go away, Photoshop. I accidentally clicked on the one. There's another map I've been working on. Don't worry about that one. All right. We're going to, first of all, import a map. Go to our desktop. Find out black and white. And it's just that easy. And I've now saved a ton of time creating an image. So let's go ahead and adjust the theme to something we want to work with. Let's go to feudal. No, I don't like feudal today. Imagination. Let's do imagination today. All right. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to go into overlays, and that colored map we're going to import. But we're going to do this as a trace. Let's go ahead and desktop. And now I totally forgot which one it is. My son's laughing at me. Okay, whoa. Gotta make sure it's the right one. Because one's 5 gigs, one is 2 gigs, 23. That's it. Very important that I don't try importing the 2 gigabyte file. Let's see, 23. Okay. Now we are going to have to adjust this one a little bit. But if we adjust it there, we should be just fine. Let me just double check this. All right. And we are back into Wonderdraft. Looks like I, to be 100% honest, messed something up. Oh, not our age. Again, this is why we do live streams. This is the... Yeah, we don't... We show everything in all the words. Again, these are the converted files. We're going to readjust this size. And we're going to go 100. We need to just get this down there. There we go. We're going to make it that size. So yeah, a little awkward. That's okay. Again, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, anything like that, let me know. Export this. Excuse me, save as. Just gonna say this is JPEG. Give it a really fancy dancy name. Close off Photoshop. There we go. Again, because I've kept the pixels relatively the same size, point. See, I kind of messed up on the size of these pixels because I was in a rush because I felt really awkward. And now I have to go in and very carefully, there we go, that should do it. Bring the opacity, and we have our original map. The reason I did this is the height map underneath it. We're gonna use that to get the rest of this map done. So again, we're in Wonderdraft, and that is how you import a map. I'm now going to use this, and we are going to come in with our labels and symbols. Since we already have everything pretty much done with our landforms, we're just going to bust this out. I am going to just use the small these small mountains. Yeah, I think let's go with 25. And again, the reason I'm doing this is so that I can... let's go with that. The reason I am doing this is so I can plan out a couple things just a little bit better. There we go. Just sit here on 20. All right, that's good. Okay, let's get started. And again, we're just placing down mountains, kind of ranges. Now, this can all be changed. This is just kind of a early planning method. And then we're going to get, since, again, the main part of this demonstration was to show how you can import stuff into Wonderdraft and how that works. We're now going to go ahead and get into this in detail. Let's get this on 20. And let's go ahead and start overlays. I'm just going to adjust the opacity. Go back to our symbols. And we're just going to bust out where these mountains are. Yeah, channel update real quick. We haven't done a lot of videos. We haven't been working. We've been working, as any regular person knows, on our channel. We have been just hitting the beta test for our role-playing game that's coming out. We've had a bunch of different groups. We've been working our guts out on it, and it is starting to, it's taken a lot of time. Also, to be honest with you, there's only so many videos you can do on how to make maps in like Wonderdraft, or how to make maps in ArtRage or Photoshop or anything else like that. So I came up with an idea last night on what we can do to make things more interesting, make the videos on the channel, on the YouTube channel mainly, a little more engaging. And the answer was, instead of doing, these giant, huge step-by-step tutorials, I kind of thought of, what if we start on a podcast type format? Because that's pretty much what we've been doing. It's been a tutorial podcast. We have a lot of interactions in chat. We have a lot of interactions with our audience. And I personally I like that a lot better. So a quick tutorial at the front, like 5-6 minutes long. And then we just jump into kind of a podcast setting. We're probably going to invite some specific people onto this podcast. If you're interested on it, and again, we're just going to shoot the breeze, just talk about anything you want while we do some map making, and just kind of go from there. Kind of focus on cartography, kind of focus on world building and other things like that, in order to diversify and create something people like. Because once the input I've gotten and what we've gotten, and we being Drew, Adi, Jenny, and I, is that once people are in it, some people stay for the just a quick tutorial, but the people that are really interested in it stay for like 2-3 hours, or listen to this on just while they're working on stuff. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to make a podcast. This will be kind of our first little podcast. I'm very new to this, so it's probably going to be interesting, but what the heck, we're going to go for it. And again, if you're in chat, feel free, please throw down, and we'll talk about anything that you throw down. I don't know if there's anything, we'll try to keep it PG, maybe PG-13. If you watch my channel before, I generally don't cuss, and I generally really don't like adult content. That's not congruent with our mission statement here at Avant Novus. All right, now we're in here, up here. And again, I'm just using Wonderdraft to plan out this map and exactly where things are. It's kind of rough to see. It's actually messed with the opacity a little bit more. But going back to the podcast idea, it's just something to diversify, something to draw a little bit more interest for people and to help the channel grow. Thoughts, concerns, pleas for mercy, let me know. Okay, let's go back in there. Overlays too. It's a little too much. Okay, that's good. That's good. We'll go with that. There was a couple things I wanted to talk about today. Just stuff on my mind, just keeping stuff there. And whatnot. And the first couple things are, again, channel update. I'd like to talk about the following today. I'd like to talk to about how to start map making, how to start, why people start in the first place, why people start world building, applications you can use, things you can do with this, all these tutorials. We've got a ton of videos now. We've been doing this almost 6 months. Just little ways to improve your creative endeavors. I also wanted to talk about creating an RPG, if we get to it, the difficulties in that, because we've gone through almost 2 years now of just strict development of role-playing games, and getting this one under a belt, and playtesting, and the art behind it, which is special. So wanted to talk about that. And again, if you're coming in the chat, have any questions or want to talk about anything, please put it in the chat and I'll give you my 2 cents. Or we can just go from there. The usual group will probably be on here in a few hours. Might have to rehash some stuff, but that's fine. So role-playing games in general, I think the first of all, you have to start on, if let's say we were doing this again, this is all hindsight from 2 years of experience. The first question is, and it seems like a duh question, but it's actually, we keep coming back to it, and it's a very important that the company and staff here at Avant Novus come back to it, is why we're doing this in the first place. Why we're doing, creating a role-playing game in the first place, why we're doing it now when there's other options, some incredible options out there, like Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition is by far, pretty much by far the best edition they've done, in my opinion. just got a topic. All right, sorry. Again, we've been having some trouble with the restream software, so I've got a bunch of things open. Role-playing games. Okay, why we're doing it? Are you doing it for keeping that in mind? That answer will change as we go, as you go through creating your own RPG. If you're doing it because you want to create a world, are you doing it because you want to kind of strike out and do your own thing? Are you doing it because you feel you could do like role-playing games a little better than what's on the market? Do you feel like you can do things better or more original? And these are all valid questions, and it's very much a kind of a real reality check at times. And that, like I said, that answer is going to change. That answer about yay, the little noise you just heard was yield. Wonderdraft saving. Love that. Makes my life so much easier. So again, why are you making a role-playing game? The reason to keep that in mind is it is a lot of work. It is a lot of skill development, regardless of where you came before, regardless of what you've done before, regardless of where you're going in life or what you're doing in life. You're going to be developing all kinds of different skill sets to get things done. You're also, I think the next step is, actually, let me answer those questions really quick about our role-playing game we're doing it. We first started, when we first started on a role-playing game, I mean, really started on it in a business sense. It was kind of an answer to we wanted something that, well, number one, we wanted something, well, let me back up here. We started working on a role-playing game back when D&D 2.5 edition was active. And it just, if you're familiar with D&D Advanced Dungeons & Dragons version 2.5, it was a beautiful, glorious, hot mess of ideas, rules, structure, options. It was fun, but man, the bar was extremely high on that one. And that's fine. That's great. Okay, let's go ahead and look at that. And we wanted something a little bit easier to deal with. We wanted something a little bit more user-friendly. We wanted something that, you could do whatever, you create whatever you wanted without being limited. We played a lot of GURPS. We played a lot of FOSSA games like Shadowrun. And we felt that there are some things in there, the customization part of it was lacking. All right, let's go ahead and zoom out here. So sorry about 1 second, folks. There we go. After that, time goes on. We still wanted to do that. Now we're in a business. We've created our own little business to get things done. And it's just been kind of a kicks and giggles since then. We're doing it now because the main thing is with our business here with Avant Novus, we decided that we want something that people don't have to be investing a ton of money in. We are going to sell it professionally. We are going to sell it for profit. But we wanted something that people could. We'll start there with that. People could play with and customize, do whatever they want, but in a very balanced sense. Right now, we're kind of in this the genre is kind of this. The best way is a genre steampunk of all things. It's a fantasy meets sci-fi steampunk with kind of a setting of airships and pirates and stuff like that. So it's a very big mishmash of high magic, high fantasy combined with technology and stuff like that. It's kind of a. I'll be honest, it's kind of a hot mess, and we're just working on that. 1 second here, I just got another little notice that I have to fix something. Okay, so back to what we're doing here. So I've got the mountains done. I'm liking it. I'm really kind of liking this. Let's zoom in really quick. Yeah, not losing any resolution. You got where our mountains are. I'm now going to start on this map itself. I'm now going to start planning out where things are going and what things are going to look like. But yeah, RPGs, always keep that in mind while you're doing it. We're doing it to pretty much have fun. We're creating Avant Novus so that people can have something that they can develop on their own, and we are developing it to, pretty much give players the tool sets they need to create what they want and other things like that. We've been getting hold on, let's get rid of some of this. Let me go with a lot different opacity here. We want this to be kind of an orangish. And another color that's more of an orange pastel. That's, yeah, I like that. There we go. This is going to be our deserts. So that's why we're doing it, because we like it and we got a very good game system that's very balanced and that is fast. All right, so that's also the reason why you answer that is why you're doing it. Also leads to the next question of what do you want to accomplish with the role-playing game you're working on. And again, our answer is power to the people. Oh yeah, viva la people. Okay, what I'm doing on the map right now, I am planning out climate. This again, I'm getting the kick of doing a lot of southern hemisphere stuff, so cold to the south, warm to the north. I just kind of blocked in a rough idea of where I want my deserts. We're now going to do the kind of cool area down here. So we're just going to go light white. Not to go too crazy. Just to denote where it's going to get cold, the colder areas. Also, the reason I'm doing this, this is, again, I'm planning out where things are going to go, and what things are doing. Hold on, need a swig of something. Yeah, and the Dr. Pepper. Sponsor us. Okay, now we're back here. Yeah. Again, with my background in production and production design, something that we've always asked ourselves is, what are we trying to accomplish with this show, or with this production, or with this set, or anything else we're doing? What are we trying to create, and kind of why we're doing it? As for a role-playing game, right now it is a generic system combined with an incredible setting, and I know that this is very much a kind of, well, yeah, everybody does that answer. But I still think it is a answer that is very truthful and what everybody on the team can get behind. We're creating roughly a generic RPG system. Well, an RPG system that anybody can use and anybody can adapt to whatever they want. However, we're going to keep it in a very... We've got 3 or 4 writers on staff that are currently helping us that are absolutely amazing, in my opinion. And they're just hammering stuff out, and it's really starting to look good and starting to be very, very, very entertaining. got that. Now I'm going to drop the opacity here quite a bit. Just kind of hit this wider part. And there's going to be a back and forth. So, accomplish is create a setting, show people what the system can do, and create a very involved setting. And that involved setting is we are going to, with that setting, we're going to make it a community setting, not just a, your generic fantasy setting. We're going to base a real-time community around it. When you play, it'll be updated, kind of like the old Greyhawk campaign with D&D. Because I think that's lacking currently. And I think that is extremely easy to do nowadays with social media. All right. What I'm doing right now, I'm just kind of color coding where I want stuff, climate-wise. Just kind of rambling here, as you know. Again, if you're new to the stream, welcome. Thank you so much for joining. I'm taking questions from the comments from staff about pretty much anything map making based, role playing based. Heck, right now I'll even do any questions you have, as long as it's appropriate for a PG stream. And what for? Anyways, we're back into this. We're currently discussing what? Thank you. Yes, I will catch you up. Thank you for joining. We're currently discussing creating a role-playing game and the challenges that comes from that. Kind of putting it into perspective about the amount of work that goes into it. I thought when we first started this, we were quite ready for the crazy amount of work that went into creating a role-playing game. But it's even more crazy than we thought. Okay, let's go back to this. We're going to just drop out the opacity because we know where we want stuff to be. Again, land, we go back to our brush. Now it's starting to look really cool. We need to do some blending, of course, but it's starting to look pretty snazzy. Let's go ahead and start blending here. So yeah, creating your own RPG. It is a crazy experience because a lot of different elements. We are going to. That is a good question. We are not using a pre-made system. We're developing one on our own. Hence all the beta testing. If this was one based on like a D20 model, I don't know if they still do that, or if there's like an open license for D20 or for Pathfinder or something like that. That'd be one thing. But since we are kind of creating it from scratch, it does require a ton of beta testing and rules balancing and stuff like that. And a lot of people committing to a lot of games, which I really do appreciate. Anyone in my little circle of friends and family are being sucked into it, and I do appreciate that. I'll do a little sound. There we go. Again, right now with Wonderdraft, I'm just keeping my brush and opacity of my brush consistent. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to start getting into these little river valleys. Oh, that's a little too much. Maybe a lighter green. That's not bad. Again, I'm going to drop the opacity there quite a bit more. Let's go with 0.1. That's a little much too. Maybe we don't like that green. We meaning I. It's still too dark. Okay, we'll just make our own green. I'm looking for something out there. Let's give that a go. It's not bad. Yeah, so indecisive on the colors. Bring our brush size down a little bit. There we go. So anyways, creating your own RPG is very involved. It's fun. I'll be honest with you, we're kind of having a blast. But it does take a lot of time. It does take a lot of effort. And the skill ceiling, you're going to be learning a lot of different skills. Let's see other topics. Creating something unique. That is the kicker. Because you have to balance creating something unique with balancing what people want and what's familiar. In my art background and the production background, there was kind of philosophy. We'd do about, oh, good grief. We'd be involved with about 100 productions a year, but we'd put on roughly a, thank you for the save, roughly I'd be doing production management on, let's see, about 6 to 8 productions a year, actually getting them off the ground from start to finish. And sometimes with productions, or sometimes with a art endeavor, you're going to get there's things you want to do that you personally will find fun, and there are things that the audience wants you to do, or your clientele wants you to do, that are two very different things. So generally, we would choose to do a artsy fartsy thing, something that we wanted to do, and something that we felt was cool to do. We'd do that one out of the 6 or 8 productions, but we would also in turn do 5 productions that our clientele wanted to do. And that was actually a pretty good ratio. It also changed things up, and it also expanded our clientele's interested in the arts. And how that applies to an RPG, depending on what you're doing, depending on what you're putting out, your clientele wants something specific. They're coming and looking to you for something specific. So you have to balance out something unique with something specific that they're comfortable with. Same thing's true about map making. There's the traditional maps that, like J.R.R. Tolkien Jr. created, the typical maps, and there's kind of a form language and a language all in and of itself with what he was able to accomplish. That pretty much defined the fantasy map making genre in, even to this day. All right. So we've got kind of what I'm doing on the map right now. I'm just getting the finishing touches on. I need something a little darker, a little more crazy. There we go. And with that, having said that, with a setting, any type of setting that you're doing in a role-playing game, you have to ask yourself, what do people want? What's going to sell? Do you want to make a business out of it? Or, are you just going to do a passion project? So, again, my 2 cents on role-playing and stuff like that. All right, let's keep on going. What I'm doing right now is I'm just kind of coloring stuff, getting a feel for climate, where I want things. these wetter areas and these darker areas I'm throwing in. Welcome to the stream. My name's Dan, and we are doing a quick little cartography podcast. We are doing things that we got some comings and goings going on here at the office. We're talking about anything the chat wants to talk about. I'm rambling on about pretty much anything that I find interesting, current events and stuff like that. So chime in on chat. We'll talk about what you want, get my 2 cents on stuff, and kind of go from there. All right. Moving back in here. This area I'm now working on is going to be my tropical, my really lush area, my area that is full of jungle and stuff like that. I'm trying to keep it in a specific line. There we go. There we go. That's not bad. That's not bad. We're back into this. Because if you'll notice on any worlds, like through Google Earth or anything like that, it's pretty. Your climate pretty much has a line, and then it goes into variables depending on where it's located at. So there's going to be hot, temperate, climate. Yeah, that's why I'm using our Wonderdraft to plan out exactly where stuff is going to be. I've already got the big things, the big features of the map. Let's kind of reduce our brush size a little bit more. Let's zoom in here. Kind of figured out, but I need to plan my forests out. Otherwise, I'm going to be taking forever. And I really don't have forever. But again, we want this to look nice, because that's important. And man, do I got a lot of rivers, so we might hack those down a little bit. All right, couple things. New topic. So role-playing games, hard. I'll keep you updated if you want. If you don't want it, let me know. But making a role-playing game is very time-consuming. The hardest part is, well, the beta testing's killing us right now. Well, not really killing us. It's just long and arduous. But it has to happen, especially since we're doing our own system. And yay, we'll go from there. And then back down here, back down here. On the map right now, I am just coloring in between rivers with just the standard brown to show a height. Also show terrain type. Just a little form language there. And we're back into it down here. All right. So yeah, notice a lot of discussions on Yield Internet about the last season of Game of Thrones. I wanted to throw my 2 cents into it. Watched a video by Angry Joe about his thoughts on it, and I think he nailed a couple things that I found rather true and that I agreed with. And also, I have my own thoughts on it, and the irony that I find in what happened. Basically, you have a show of people being backstabbing murderers that, politics, everything's at stake. It's a big game to some people. It's real life to other people on that show. And I just find it really ironic that it's a show about, backstabbing. It's a show about politics. And they ended up on a note that they kind of did that at the very last couple of episodes. The last season was exactly what they did with the characters and storylines throughout the show. I think when it comes to your audience and fans, there is a unsaid contract of trust that if they're going to invest the time and effort in watching a show and being committed to it and taking the time to be emotionally involved. And if you're taking the time to adapt something as big as that TV series was, they had almost a unwritten trust from the audience, their fans, that do their absolute best, and it just didn't stick the landing at all. I also believe that, again, this is just my 2 cents on everything here. I think that there's a difference on, and it shows a difference between how people don't want to do that. How writers write differently. And what I mean by that is you have some writers that, that are very detailed. You have some writers that create these, they want their characters to get to a certain point and then shenanigans happen. I think Mr. Martin there, he created these high points for his characters and basically simmered them and got them to the place he wanted and didn't compromise on his time, which I get and I like. Unfortunately, for a TV production or a type of production like that, I mean, you see it in anime all the time. You see that there's a place where the artists are going with it, and then someone makes a, anime out of a manga, and it ends up being special, to say the least. And then your fans are really quite ticked off. A good example of that is Full Metal Alchemist, and between Full Metal Alchemist, the series, and Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, which was... Oh, go away, Siri, no one likes you. Well, some people do. That's a good example. You had one that went past where the authors of the manga were and had to make up their own story. And then you had one after the show was complete, after the show was done, that they went back and actually did Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, and it was absolutely amazing. Probably, in my mind, probably one of the greatest shows ever made. Again, personal opinion there. Say what you like about that. Again, we're just blending color. We're color on color here on the map, showing climate change, showing different areas. Yeah, that's starting. Yeah, we're good there. Okay, let's jump into. We're going to start planning out where the forests go, and to do that, we are going to. So yeah, finishing up the discussion on Game of Thrones, or my 2 cents on Game of Thrones. It's a story about people being backstabbing, conniving, manipulating stuff, and, crazy. And it ended with them kind of hosing over their fans by manipulating them and backstabbing them. And I just found that ironic. All right, with the map right now, we're going to start planning out exactly where things are going. I'm going to do this a certain way. We're first of all going to decide where the weather is coming from. Let's go ahead and... So I think in this bottom, we're going to go... I'm just going to make a little mark here with maybe some trees. Yeah, let's do that. So weather is going to move... Down here, your weather's going to move that way. It's going to switch up probably around here, going that way. Let's do this. Top, weather's going to move that way. And in the temperate zone, weather's going to move that way. So we will plan accordingly. Okay, next topic. Game of Thrones. And cartography is therapy. And this is kind of a subject kind of near and dear to my heart. If you watched the channel before anytime, we've talked a lot about mental health. We've talked a lot about what we get out of cartography. We've gone through a little bit of history and stuff like that. On a personal note, I've struggled with very bad anxiety brought on by PTSD and depression. And over the last that should tell you something, 2 years or so, I found that one of the best therapeutic things I have done is actually map making, because it gives kind of that creative outlet, a place to go. It gives you that creative outlet, kind of a place to vent, but also it allows you to actually create something that you like, create something that you feel is of value and that you can gain some ownership over. And I know that for me personally, thank you for the save. For me personally, it has been a godsend to do these videos, mainly because my mental problems stem from social situations currently. And doing these live streams, it allows me to get in there and kind of put myself out there in a safe environment and videos. And we have, this channel has a wonderful support community. That's been great. If you're just joining us, welcome to the stream. I know there's a lot of people here now. Thank you so much for coming. We're to kind of catch you up on what we're doing. We're doing the format a little bit different. We have a lot of our regulars here. Instead of, I was looking at the video content, I was looking at the things we've done, and these Ava Novus creative streams are almost a hybrid between, let's go 0.05 on this opacity. No, I guess it won't go that far. So I should make kind of a muddled, kind of a greenish brown here. We are currently readjusting how we are doing these live streams in the sense that, let's get rid of this guy. We're gonna just right click on that, remove, right click on that, remove. And again, we're looking for kind of a whitish green. Kind of a dirty white green. So what I decided to do last night is, first of all, kind of call these videos what they are. It's more of a live stream tutorial. And I think that's the format that I really want. Instead of just creating video after video about tutorials, I think this is more of a live stream. I think this is what I like to do a lot better and what the community really responds to. So if you just joined us in the chat, please, questions, comments, concerns, gripes, things you want to talk about or get my 2 cents into. We're just going to go on a live stream format. Our current format is the first 10-15 minutes of these streams. We are going to just be focusing on just a quick technique, quick tutorials that we're working on. And then after we do that, we are going to just do a live stream about topics. Good example today, we've gone through a lot about like creating your own role-playing game, creating your own, why you're doing it, wherefore, and what you get out of it. We also discussed I also discussed a little Game of Thrones stuff. Mentioned it. I found it interesting that a show about backstabbing and conniving. Well, they basically did that. I feel that they did that to their fans. But again, just my 2 cents. If you are currently in the stream texting, typing, there is a little bit of trouble with Restream. That's the software used to stream on multiple platforms. I do know that the YouTube is working. So if you want to have a chat there, zip over there. I don't know about Facebook. We've had a couple issues with Facebook lately, and we don't know why. We've put a couple support tickets in, so we will go from there. And then we're back here. With maps, I've also found that the colder areas are some of the most hardest for me personally to do. But if I just kind of follow the usual techniques that we've kind of developed on this channel, we get a lot better product, a lot better representation of what we had in mind. There we go. Going really light on these mountains here. Again, if you mess up, just go back, Control Z it out. Yeah, doing live streams now. Doing podcasts. Want to go over to the Cartographers Guild. There's a bunch of different groups on Facebook. I want to see if anybody's interested in just coming on and just talking shop, talking about map making, how they do stuff and why they do it. Because I think it's fun. It's something I'd like to learn about, and there's a number of people with the Ava Novus community that would like to know about that. We're just back in here. And again, making some cool stuff. Just so people are also caught up in what I'm doing right now, I needed to. Here's our role-playing map for the Ava Novus game system. It's like super ridiculously detailed. I think at 100 DPI, this blows up to about 18 feet. It is by far the biggest map I've ever done. I need some work on this. I need to plan this a little better because it is so big. So what we're doing today is I've imported the basic land structure into Wonderdraft, and now I am oh crap, I should. And now I am there we go. Here's our original map. This is the map I'm planning out. You can kind of see where things are going. But I needed a place to plan things out. And again, we covered this in the first, like, I don't know, 10 minutes of the video. So if you want to see what I'm doing, you can always go back to that. All right, let's jump in here, and we are going to start. Hope everybody's doing okay. And I just want to do a quick little test here, just to see if the chat's working. 3, 4, 5, 6. I don't know if the chat is working at all. Huh. Yeah, we've got some. Let me try refreshing our chat browser. Yeah, it is working. There's about a minute, well, not a minute, about 30-second delay. So that's good to remember. Okay, let's go ahead and start slapping down some trees. We're going to just get rid of the overlay, tracing overlay, just pop the opacity. Again, we're planning out winds coming this way, weather's coming from right to left down here. In the middle temperate zone, it is going from left to right, And up here, it's just going right to left again. So let's go ahead. Let's get started in the temperate zone. We're just keeping in mind rain shadows, where those are going to be, how they're going to be. And also, you got some giant mountains here. And this middle part looks like it's going to be a great deal of grasslands. We might reverse that, though. I'm thinking we might just reverse that right now. Because I like forests. On second thought, let's just give it a go. All right. Let me see if I can get onto Facebook. Because I'm getting a lot of information that we're having some trouble on Facebook. Just reverse that right now. Because I like. There we go. So I've now gotten my biggest chat boxes open. I can see if anybody has 2 cents. All right. Cool. Let's jump back in here. So let's plan out. We'll start on force over here. Again, these mountains, it's probably going to be best if these mountains are not as big. Zoom out here. Again, I'm using the trees are going to be a lot bigger. Well, let's cut them down a size. So our trees are going to be on this side of the map. Going down on this side of the map. We're going to keep all these forests on the left side of the mountains because of the weather. We will switch it up down here, but for the most part, in our temperate zone, we will be just dropping our rain shadow to the right, trees to the left. Just keeping it consistent. Other things I want to talk about. So I've been playing some games lately that I wanted to just kind of touch on really quick. I have a group of friends. It's pretty much the Avant Nova staff plus a couple other people, and we play games and talk shop at night. We take about an hour and just sit down and talk about what we did today, what we're doing, etc., etc., so forth. No one's getting paid right now, which is, not unexpected. But we are trying to all be on the same page, and it is definitely a labor of love. So we've been playing a couple games. We've been playing Vermintide 2. We've been playing Sea of Thieves. And I've personally been playing Fallout 76. And I'd like to get into a couple of those. I'm probably going to start live streaming those on the various platforms. I can't recommend Vermintide 2 enough. It is, with friends, it is amazing. Without friends, I can see it getting a little repetitive. Maybe your first time around, it's just going to blow your mind. Second time around, you kind of know what's coming and maybe look forward to it. Third, fourth, But with friends, every time you do something, it's crazy, fresh, and awesome. So, Vermintide 2, it is very successful at what it does. It is very successful on how it runs. It's endless waves. It's kind of like Left 4 Dead, if you're familiar with that. Basically, you're 4 people just trying to survive a horrible onslaught of monsters. In this case, they're giant rats from the Warhammer universe called Skaven. And also the baddies in that are called the Chaos. Thank you, little Michael Moorcock, for that one. And it's good. Vermintide 2 is wonderful, and we're gonna do some streams on that. If you'd like to join, please feel free to. We'll be on Twitch. I might just broadcast it. Well, I'll probably broadcast it on everything, Twitch and Facebook. So please, if you're interested in that in any way, shape, or form, jump in. We'll make space for you. We have been, the little group, the staff that, the Avant Nova staff, we've also kind of been dorking around with Sea of Thieves. It's been about a year since that came out, and they've released a ton of new updates. And that's fun too. It gets a little repetitive. I think even after they've added all the things, it's still, there's a little bit of a learning curve with it, and there's definitely a learning curve on how to deal with frustration. Also, on the map I'm doing right now, the forests over in this area are not going to be as big on the map. So, just keep that in mind. Actually, we're going to make some more force over here, because this area, since the weather's blowing in a bunch of stuff, this force in this area are going to be quite a bit bigger. And I hope we're still up and running. It looks like we are. But it looks like the chat is down. I have Facebook open. I do have YouTube open. So if you guys want to chat there, please feel free to jump in on that. See if Restream's still working. If not, this is going to be very awkward. We're still going. Things still going good. Thank you. That noise you just heard was Wonderdraft saving. Yeah, we're still going good. It's just the chat is not doing too hot here. We're just gonna chat's broke on Restream. So if you'd like to say something, go ahead and see if we're on Facebook still. Yeah, we're okay. Most of us are still on. Yeah, most of us are still on YouTube. So we're just going to keep going here. What I'm doing with the map, I'm increasing the size of these forests. So huge forest areas here. We'll keep that in mind when we are adding the new spots to this. Was also going to do a tutorial video later this week when I get around to it on getting started on publishing your own content, on digital content on like DriveThruRPG, on Roll20, on the D&D Game Masters Guild, just to give people, if people want to just, make some extra, cash-o on their creations, give them an idea of what they can do, what they can expect, what they're looking at versus time versus skills they need, and different resources to help them publish their own maps, their own software, and anything else. All right, we're back in here. I've noticed that Restream lately. Restream's the service that we use to broadcast. How it works is we broadcast directly, it streams directly to that service. It then takes that signal and splits it up to a bunch of different, like to YouTube and to Facebook, to Mixer, to pretty much all the other, our social media and everything else. Let's see. Yeah, I'm liking that. I might want to connect these for us here. Just making it little interested. There we go. Oh, it looks like I screwed something up. Size is not. I think we're at 25. That's a little bit. 30. Yeah, 30. Okay, good to know. Again, adding forests. Lots of forests. This area is going to be very wet. I think Pacific Northwest. I need to write some of these notes down. Welcome to stream. Thank you so much for joining. Yeah, this is the Map Making Podcast. I'm Dan. A lot about Novus. If you have any questions, comments, or anything else, or things you'd like my 2 cents on, or for the chat to talk about, go ahead and throw that in. Right now we're taking questions and comments specifically from YouTube and Facebook. So up in this area, we're going to start noticing a weather change because our jet stream is going to start moving the opposite way up here. But let's go ahead and finish this temperate zone. And these mounds over here are not going to be that big. They're more of very big hills, maybe Appalachian hills. But we're keeping, of course, the rain shadows on the left of the mountains. Just got a question on the size and scale of the world we're making. This specific world is, Earth is 24,000 miles around. This world is about 30,000, so a lot more gravity plus just a little bit more in there. The map here is about the size of China, down into Thailand, down into Indonesia. So you can kind of see the size of that and the scale. What we're probably going to do is, well, what we are going to do content-wise for the game is we are going to we'll have a big world map, we'll have a huge region map, and then we'll just divide it up into small little parts. For our age, we are, there we go. Just check this. There we go. Test is the website is working. Let's get rid of that tree. Go away, tree. Go back in here. The further we go to the east on this map, the less forest we're going to get. Of course, we have that big lake area. Probably have a lot bigger range of forests. I think this area is going to be, up here is going to be maybe grassland, subtropical. Maybe middle of America, Appalachians, Ozark in the area I'm doing. There we go. Again, keeping a rain shadow on the left of everything. Go ahead and grab my topics. Oh yeah, Sea of Thieves. Fun game. If you're into sailing and the piratical life, it's really quite good. You just need some people to play with. You can play it on your own, but it can be quite frustrating on your own. However, you play with friends and it's It's an amazing little game. One of my favorite streamers, his name's Burt Black, plays it a lot. And the crazy shenanigans him and his buddies get into. It's actually why I started playing it, because I thought it was absolutely hilarious. And there are some definite organic good times to be had. But it's one of those games you make your own fun. Over here. In here. Let me see if restreams. I can't see. I'm trying to see three things with restream chat. Working on it. Yeah, they're aware of it. And then, so sorry you guys can't see everything at the same time. It's definitely frustrating. It's very frustrating to me. Okay, we're back down here. And again, focusing on rain shadows. Now over here, down here, we got kind of something interesting. We have this large body of water. So right in this area, we're going to get a lot of forests. Of course, it's a colder body of water, which is going to make the clouds rain a ton in this area. It's going to pull down the condensation. It's going to make the barometer drop. You're going to get a lot of rain and a lot of wetness here. So we're going to put these forests in to show that. Yes, the video itself, if you want to watch it again, is available on YouTube. And that's going to be the 1080p. And it is also going to be available on Facebook. I will leave it up there. Facebook's been kind of interesting lately. I don't know if it's new. We actually got hit with a content claim on my voice, of all things, on YouTube the other day, which was a little irritating to say the least. So, it was one of those big lawyer companies. So, they got a little bit of a knock it off please letter. I'm definitely not a lawyer, but that's an abusive. I'd hate to be the people like in YouTube or Facebook that have to deal with content claims. That'd be absolutely brutal. Well, hey, welcome to the stream. My name is Dan. This is Alva Novus. We're making maps and kind of doing a little bit of a podcast today. Oh, our chat is down, so I'm just going to zip over to Twitch really quick. I apologize if I've missed some comments. If I have, our usual chat is down. So I'm going to open all the chat thingies and try to respond to any questions, comments, concerns anyone has made. There we go. There we go. All right. Wow, I've got a lot of people today. Yeah, this is our first podcast. This is our first, to answer the question in chat, this is the first time we're actually doing a kind of the podcast format. I'm just rambling on whatever I feel like doing. We've talked everything about creating your own RPG, Game of Thrones, how to get started on map making while you're doing it. Also, the very first of the video, we did a quick tutorial about importing maps into Photoshop. Well, excuse me, importing maps into Wonderdraft. And then using those maps as a planning tool. We've actually been going for quite a while here. We're looking about 2.5 hours. I might need a little break here in a second. Just throw some music on. And we'll just go from there. Then again, I'm just probably going to try to muscle through it. This is definitely lunchtime, and I is a hungry hobbit. The question in chat was, do you plan to live stream anything with like your role-playing game or anything like that? The answer is yes. We're not there yet, but we definitely want to do that because it'd be fun. We also build awareness of what we're doing and how we're doing it. All right, we've got our forests in. Let's go up here and hit the rest of these forests. Actually, I'm going to take a quick break. Then we'll come back and just going to turn on some music for you, and I will be back in a few moments. All right, we're back. We're actually going to wrap this podcast up really soon here. Apparently, I can talk my guts out all day if I feel like it. So, just getting all the chats open. And we're back into stuff. Okay. All right, just need to get this area down here since let's go some pine trees. Give this about 30. So we're going to wrap this up in the next 10 minutes or so. So lightning round, if you have any questions, comments, anything like that, go ahead and ask. And we will get to those real quick. Just getting YouTube comments loaded. All right, we're back in. Again, down here, our trees are now going to be on the other side of the mountains because we have that climate change. Maybe they're just going to be in the southwest direction. Yeah, I like that. We'll just go in that southwest direction. So it's not too, you know, whoa! And we're just using Wonderdraft to plan out how we're going to do the rest of this map. There we go. Big alpine forests. Maybe some of these are the giant redwoods. Thank you for the save there, Wonderdraft. Love that. We're going to just hurry and finish this. All right. Looks like I didn't get the top of this done, but I think that's going to help. Just going to back and overlay and compare the two. So that's our super detailed, super drawing height map we did in Art Rage that I'm really liking. And this is more of a traditional fantasy map, and then a lot of the forest and everything else in Art Rage. Cool. Yeah, been going a while. I think it's lunchtime. And I'd like to thank everybody for jumping in. Got a lot of new people in the chat. Got a lot of new. Hopefully this format's going to work for a lot more people just besides me. Let me know in the comments what you think of this. Quick tutorial first, big podcast in the middle, and we'll just go from there. My name's Dan. I'm with Avant Novus. This has been the map making podcast and with Avant Novus Creative Stream. Thank you so much for coming, and I hope you have a wonderful day.